Okay, so I tested this 2017 iPad Pro in 2026, so let's talk about it. All right, so let's just first start off with the screen. This screen is honestly super nice, and I love the screen, and it's because this was the first Apple device, I think, that was at 120 hertz, and that just makes it super smooth. It's just a really nice screen. Sick. And hertz-wise, it is a better screen than my 2023 iPhone 15. It also does get kind of bright-ish. It gets to 600 nits max brightness, which for today is not very bright. The iPad Pro that just came out can get up to 1,000 nits, but for the time, which is 2017, this was industry leading. My screen is cracked though on this iPad. And let's talk about the camera. So this one has a flash, unlike a lot of modern iPads, and it has a 12 megapixel rear facing camera and a 7 megapixel front facing camera. Both cameras are fine. You're not going to get really blown away with them, but to be honest, who's really buying an iPad to take photos with it? The front facing camera is fine, and the rear facing camera is also fine. Once you start zooming in, the grain will start to become very apparent. It doesn't show very well on camera, but trust me, there is grain there. And then the audio that comes from this. Oh my god, it is so good. Dare I say, it is better than the 10th gen iPad. Dare I say? It has two speakers basically on both sides of the iPad, which I know most iPads do have nowadays, but still for some reason it just sounds better. I don't know why, it just does sound better. The audio that comes out of this iPad is so good. It also has a headphone jack. Pretty cool. And then the battery. So I didn't really do a battery test, but apparently it's supposed to get you around 10 hours of web surfing, just searching on the web. It's probably less now because this is nearly 10 years old, but 10 hours is not terrible for an iPad. I couldn't see the battery health on this. It won't let me see it. This iPad was also known for being super thin at 6.1 millimeters. Now it's not as thin as the current iPad Pro that came out in 2024, but for the time that this was pretty thin. And I honestly like devices that are pretty thin. I do like the iPhone Air, even though I don't own one. I think it's a pretty cool piece of tech. I like the feel of how thin it is. Now it is kind of heavy compared to the iPad 10th generation, which is thicker and lighter, but it still is thin. Now, could you daily drive this in 2026? Yes and no. So let me get into why you theoretically could. So the latest iPad OS of this current one is iPad OS 17, and tons of apps do support that, like YouTube, Chrome, Instagram even supports that, and all that stuff. Though there are a couple apps that don't, like Netflix, for example, needs iPad OS 18 or up, which this one won't be able to run, so this one won't be able to watch Netflix. However, as time goes on, iPad OS 17 came out in 2023, so it is already kind of getting old, and by the end of this year, by the end of 2026 and into 2027, the minimum app requirements is going to start being iPad OS 18 rather than iPad OS 17, which is right now the minimum requirement. And so theoretically you could get this for $900, but by the end of this year and into next year, you're not going to be able to run as many apps as you would want to. So theoretically right now you could daily drive this, but you shouldn't. But yeah, I'm done now.